Alright guys, welcome back to this channel and I hope you are all doing good. What if I told you that some of the things that are said about black individuals are never said out loud? Yes, what if those thoughts are shaping everyday interactions? What if those thoughts are shaping everyday opportunities and even respect? So guys, let's get into this video. I'll be coming back with more commentaries because today a black woman is speaking out boldly and unapologetically about what she believes many white people really think about black people, and what she reveals might shock you. So guys, let's get into these clips. I'll be coming back with more commentaries. Otherwise, stay tuned.
All right, white folk, if you've ever wondered what black people feel about you.
So this is for educational purposes only. The question says, why do black people hate white people so much? It goes both ways. Let's talk about it. Let me tell you why it doesn't work both ways. Never has there been a time in the United States in which black people had structural power and the ability to weaponize that power to discriminate and hate against white people. However, there was a period of time, a long period of time in the United States in which white people hated black people for nothing other than their race and had the power to do something about it. White pride is rooted in white supremacy and was birthed out of a place of exerting power and control over other demographics of people. Black pride, on the other hand, was rooted in surviving oppression. Black pride was the conscious collective effort of a community to stop the erasure of culture and history. Any hatred, vitriol, and distrust by black people for white people is a natural byproduct of years of systemic oppression in the United States. The pathway forward to building that bridge and regaining that trust is for white people to not only acknowledge the egregious acts that the United States government committed against black Americans, not only acknowledge the wrongdoing of our ancestors. Most white people have done that part. They're starting to acknowledge history, but it stops there. They will say that's a long time ago, this is now. The problem is today, white people are still feigning ignorance and they're not actively working to stand in solidarity and dismantle the tools of oppression that are still in place today. Most white people, particularly white people on the right, will tell you that systemic racism does not exist today. In spite of the mounting evidence and data, right now in our country, there is this yearning for this kumbaya, can't we all just get along? The problem with that line of thinking is that it's very superficial, it's surface level. In a perfect world, we just say, stop the hate, end racism, everybody get along, and voila, everything will be back to normal. The reason why that never works is because there is something much larger and nefarious at play that profits off of our division. Till we, and when I say we, I mean particularly white people, because black people have been screaming this for years. Until we address the institutions and systems that are perpetuating this racism, we will never affect change. You know, there was a time when I used to hear black people say, screw them saltines, I'll say it mildly. But I used to get so mad until I understood the root cause of black pain and black anger in this country. It wasn't until I got educated, I deconstructed and re-educated myself, that my whole worldview and perspective changed. I will never say any form of hatred or bigotry is okay. But if I see hatred coming from a marginalized community, from a group of people that have historically been oppressed, I will try to understand and empathize where that hatred is coming from and do the work to do what I can to de-escalate and defuse that hatred and turn it into love. But that takes a whole lot of work in earning trust. And I don't know what length people who look like me are willing.
All right, white folk, if you've ever wondered what black people feel about you, let's talk. Because I'm tired of all these fake conversations. You know, people always want to ask, why do black people seem distant or cautious or skeptical towards white people? They usually, when you all ask that as white people, you're usually expecting some type of emotional answer. But the response is not emotional, y'all. It's historical. It's based on history, it's sociological, and it's a pattern. See, for first thing, Black people are not a monolith. We're not all the same. Some Blacks are married to white spouses, right? Some of us have white best friends. Some of us work in white dominated spaces every day and thrive. But there is still something that exists underneath of that, y'all. And it's called collective memory. You hear that, white folk? Collective memory. Let's talk about sociology. That's why I just love sociology, the study of people and concepts and things, because the sociology of trust. Trust is built through consistent safety over time. Let me repeat that. Trust is built over consistent safety over time. So as a parent, your kid knows, oh, my mom is going to feed me every evening at 5 because you've consistently been feeding Jimmy at 5 for the past 3 years. So you have built up a trust. Your kid knows that based on history of my mother and what she's done for me in the past 3 years, she's consistent with what she's going to do today. Well, that's how it is with Black people and our feelings towards white folk. If a group experiences enslavement, as Black folk did, legal segregation, voter suppression, housing discrimination, medical exploitation over centuries now, our actual nervous system, the nervous system of that group, we adapt. So that's not opinion. That's called trauma science. Okay. Communities develop protective instincts. It's for the sake of survival, right? And America has a long documented record of racial hierarchy. See, this isn't ancient history. The Civil Rights Act passed in 1964. That's not even one lifetime ago. You understand? So let's talk about data, because some of you all are really stuck on data. Studies from Pew Research consistently show a significant racial trust gap in America. Black Americans report lower levels of trust in institutions, law enforcement, and government compared to white Americans. That distrust didn't appear out of nowhere. It follows experiences, and experiences follow policy. So let's talk about economics and pattern recognition. Let's talk about redlining. Redlining wasn't a rumor. It was federal policy. The GI Bill disproportionately excluded Black veterans. Mass incarceration, police disproportionately affected Black communities. When you see patterns repeat across generations over and over and over again, you don't call it coincidence. You call it structure. And structure shapes perception, you all. So what do many Black people think? We don't necessarily, not all of us, some of us do now, but not all of us think hate. Most of us don't think revenge, but caution. Oh yeah. Many Black Americans operate what I call earned awareness. And what this is it's understanding that individual kindness does not erase systemic patterns. See, so that's why we can come to work and smile in your face with you white folk. And all along, we know from what our mama, our grandmama, our granddaddy, our great-grandparents and everything, not only what they've told us, but what we've seen and experienced. I can't trust her. White man talk with what? Fourth tongue, right? We can't trust what you say. You can smile in our face. You can do all that you want to do. Take us out for drinks, whatever. But history never lies. So, earned awareness is what we operate in. It's to understand that individual kindness does not erase systemic patterns. You can like the individual white person. I can still like you as a white person and still question.
So guys, as you continue watching, this is really an eye-opening video, and this Black woman who is speaking candidly about what many white people may truly think about Black people. Yes, she's revealing perspectives that are rarely discussed openly, and her words are powerful. They are thought-provoking, and her words may even challenge what you thought you knew about race, about perception, and society. So guys, we are seeing this conversation is really diving deep into hidden biases, into uncomfortable truths, and the reality of how different communities view each other behind closed doors. So, guys, whether you agree or disagree, this is a discussion that really needs to be had. Prepare to be surprised, guys. I'm hoping that you are challenged and you are informed. So, guys, just watch till the end and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is really reflecting the reality? Let's get into these clips. I'll be back.
White systems. That's nuance. You understand? That's how some interracial couples really make it and survive, because they realize, listen, this white person or this white person may not be racist. However, there are systems put in place that are. That nuance makes people uncomfortable, though. So let me speak plainly to you all, okay? If you're white and you never personally harmed a black person, right? Consciously, that you know of. This conversation is not accusing you, but if you benefit from structures that are historically unequal and you refuse to examine that, that's where attention lies, y'all. See, some black people don't automatically extend full trust because historically, automatic trust was dangerous. It would get you killed, okay? Trust me. History has shown that many a people trusted many a white person and ended up hung, lynched, killed, sold. Here's the balance. Many Black Americans also believe in coalition, in solidarity, and real allyship. But allyship requires some things, you all. If you're an ally to the Black people, to us, you have to first listening without being defensive. That's first and foremost. If you can listen without get defensive, then you have a way to be an ally. Number two, your way to allyship is acknowledging historical harm. Can't act like it didn't happen, y'all. Number three, speaking up when racism shows up. You can't just be silent anymore if you want to be an ally. And number four, understanding that proximity to Blackness and Black culture is not the same as understanding the Black experience. I get sick and tired of some of you white women telling me, but I married a Black man and my children are Black. And just because you sleep with a Black person doesn't make you Black, honey. Even through penal injection, you ain't Black. So I don't want to hear that. Well, I know what it feels like to be Black. I have a Black husband. Girl, please. That right there shows you're not ready to be an ally because you don't want to look deep and honestly in yourself and realize that there is a form of white privilege even in saying that. And that makes me nervous when white mothers talk like that, because that tells me they're not willing to do the work to educate their half Black children. So let me close with this. This is not about guilt. It's about awareness. If you want to understand why some Black Americans are cautious and why we are, and rightfully so, stop asking, why don't they trust us? And you need to start asking, what happened that made this distrust happen? History answers that question clearly. And healing starts with honesty, not defensiveness. So for the most part, white people, if I had to sum it up really quickly, we as Black people, we really don't think about you all at all. When we think of you, the majority of us, it is how to survive and thrive around a race of people who historically never cared about us. How do we survive when the enemy is amongst us? That's how we have to, for our own survival, we have to always keep our head on a swivel. It's just the truth. See, you have the luxury and the complexion for the protection of going to any city. When you travel as Black people, we have to make sure, wait a minute, this is a sundown town. They're going to be burning crosses and lynching Negroes in this town after dark. That's why you all white people are so free and trusting and you leave your doors unlocked, because you have the complexion for the protection. But we have to worry if we leave our door unlocked from great-great-grandmother and them, is somebody going to burn a cross? They're going to come in here and shoot me because I know how to read?
So guys, now as we continue diving into this is a conversation that is not about attacking anyone. It is about understanding truths. It is about understanding perception and even lived experiences. Because sometimes the hardest conversations are the ones we need the most. So this woman at the center of this discussion is sharing something many people may feel but are often afraid to say publicly. Yes, so she's claiming that behind the polite smiles and surface level interactions, there are deeply rooted assumptions that still exist today. Yes, so according to her, one of the biggest unspoken beliefs is this, that black people are often underestimated, not always directly, but subtly, through doubt, through lowered expectations, or even surprise when success is achieved. Yes. So she's even explaining that this does not always come in the form of open racism, but rather in quiet moments like being watched more closely in stores, being questioned more about qualifications, or even being treated as different in professional spaces. And guys, let me tell you what really makes it more shocking is how normalized these experiences have become. Yes, she's going further to say that some people may not even realize they carry these thoughts, and that bias is not always loud or even aggressive. Yes, and that is sometimes it's quiet, it's learned, and deeply embedded over time. So she's challenging viewers to ask themselves that where do these perceptions come from? Are they based on personal experiences or something they've even been taught? Because the truth is, media, history, and social environment all play a role in shaping how we see each other. So for her, this realization did not come overnight. It came from years of observation, years of experience, and even years of reflection. And she admits it's indeed painful. Painful to feel misunderstood, painful to feel judged before even speaking, painful to constantly have to prove your worth. But instead of staying silent, she chose to speak, not out of anger, but out of a desire for awareness and change. Her message is simple but very much powerful. She's saying that we cannot fix what we refuse to acknowledge. And if real progress is ever going to happen, people really have to be willing to listen even when it's uncomfortable. People really have to be willing to reflect even when it challenges their beliefs, and to grow even when it's not easy. So now the question is, do you think there is truth to what she is saying, or do you see things differently? Let's talk about it, guys. Drop your thoughts in the comments, guys, respectfully. And if this video made you think, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real conversations like this, because sometimes the truth we avoid is the truth we need the most. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video, and this video, it's meant for educational purposes and commentary purposes as well. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Peace be with you. Until the next one.